Hey everybody, today is going to be a different topic. Let me get straight to it. This is Head and Shoulders ATR. I'm Nick, your host, and we're going to talk about something like a life lessons here. I was thinking about doing this. This is going to be a little bit more on the, I guess, the applications in real life outside of sports that they can apply to versus just the athletic performances, as always, that we cover on here. So, don't forget to remain rich, stay blessed. Smash that like button. Subscribe if you're not already. We're going to get straight into it. So we went from, this is, before I even get to the topic here, before you think I'm comparing and saying, hey, a newcomer is going to be at the level of Elaine, Thompson-Herah, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price, or anybody like that. Nope, that is not what I'm saying. I'm giving you two different examples, and I can pull from hurdlers. I can pull from the men, but I'm staying on the women today. And what I noticed just recently. So, if you stay focused, you may be able to win. In Elaine Thompson-Herah's case, if you stay focused, she went from winning Rio. Then she had a couple of mess ups between at the World Championships, whether it was mental, whether it was physical, whether it was any other issue that was going on in her life, right? No matter what the issues were, she was running blazing fast. That could have easily destroyed her. That could have easily prevented her from doing this and coming back at the Tokyo Olympics and then capturing that much faster than she was before. That could have prevented her from doing this and then becoming the second fastest woman in history over the 100. That could have prevented her from doing what she's doing this year and still winning, even though she has some shoulder problems and maybe her Achilles might be flaring up again, coming from her camp about what the word is going out there. No matter what, she's done something that other people have not ever done before her. And as of yet, obviously enough time hasn't passed, they haven't done it since then. She's gotten a double-double, and then she got a double-triple. A gold in the 1 and the 2. And then, of course, at that Olympics, they got a silver, if I'm not mistaken. And then a gold between the 1, the 2, and the 4x1. Obviously, they didn't set the world record. She's individually in her own right on the cusp of setting the world record in the 100. 200 is a much bigger daylight between that. But in any case, whether she does it or not going forward, she was able to focus. She shared on her Instagram that she had goals of hitting 10.5. She had goals of being able to win at the Olympics. She had goals of other things that she wrote down, and she shared that on her Instagram, that she set that way back then, over a decade ago. And she was able to hit all of those goals. Will she be able to now? She's stretched her mind and said, hey, I'm going to go after that world record. Will she be able to get that? Time will tell. But I think we can apply this to our own lives. For those people that might be high achievers already, because we're going to get to two different versions. We'll get to Sha'Carri Richardson in a second. For those that might be high achievers, top performers, where you're at that top level, whether that is in your hometown, in your friend circle, for example, or let's say you're at school. You're at some class project and you might be one of the top people there, because Elaine Thompson-Herah is competing against Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price over the 100, one of the most dominant figures in the women's side they've ever seen, right? So you're maybe in a similar environment at that local level. Maybe you're in the city level. Maybe you're the regional manager at your company. Whatever that may be, if you're at one of those higher achievers there and you're getting down because you can't always perform at the level that you wanted to, just remember, Elaine Thompson-Herah stayed focused. There could have been all types of drama, especially with some of the rumors, some true, some false, about what is going on with her in her personal life. Doesn't matter, because nobody's perfect. Everybody comes in with issues. If you find out about if people find out things about you, me, or whoever, it might change their perspective on certain things. And what we can take is, if you're trying to perform at that top level at your job, in your relationship, I will hope you ain't competing against other people in your relationship. Hold on, let me take that one back. But technically you are. You want to be your best self when you come in at the relationship, but not in the other way that could have been implied. But at your job, at your school, at whatever it is, just remember here, you could come in as that young upstart with quick speed like she did in 2015. And she was just blazing on the scene. And then she came through to take the win in Rio. And remember, Shelly Ann Fraser-Price was injured, to be fair. Because everybody says, well, you know what? And when they go against each other, something's usually wrong with the other person. Something's usually wrong with the other person most of the time when they match up. If you take out all of those, Elaine Thompson-Herah still does have the advantage, I think, with one race. If you take out prelims or semis or something like that, and all the time either the other one or the other was injured or something was wrong. But this is what I want to say. Let me wrap this one up. If you come in and let's say you're younger here, because my audience is either very young or baby boomer age. It's either Generation Z, we got a couple of millennials or something in there, and whatnot. It's very, very, very wide gap here. If you're the young one that's coming in here and you're fresh-faced, very new and everything, you can come in and you're a high achiever. Remember, if you get knocked down, stay focused, stay the course, adjust your plans accordingly. Like the equivalent to you getting injured would be you having to adjust your plans. If you're getting injured as an athlete, you have to stop doing the thing that got you injured and rehab, cross-train, do other things because your body can't take it. In the workforce, you might have got knocked down because you didn't meet your numbers. For example, the NFT did not go the way I would have liked it to go, right? So I have to adjust. I'm doing different things. Do I drop the NFT? No. I just make some adjustments to what some of the goals are, and then I regroup from there. In your place, if you didn't meet the sales goals, if you got rejected too many times when you're trying to sell the product that you're trying to sell, you readjust, you take an inventory, focus on what you're good at, and then study. That's like the cross train. Study on something that you might not have considered before, and then come back, and then you can adjust. Then it might take you a few years, and then you come back better than ever, just like Elaine Thompson-Herah did in Tokyo. Then you get on a winning streak. You're on fire. You run that up. You don't just rest on your laurels. You're not always going to have the body that you're going to have. You're not always going to have the same level of energy. You're going to get fatigued as you get older. Then you come back here, pushing the barrier as far as possible. And even when you might be starting to break down again, maybe you ease up just a little bit, but just under the point where you could break down again, right? In your workplace, there's going to be a season, just like with track and everything, where the search engine, there's going to be more people searching for it. So there's going to be a season where it's just going to be harder for you to get sales. You have to adjust to that and say, okay, somebody's getting sales this month. I can't just rest on getting 0. Last month I got 100 and this month I get 0. Okay, it might be lower this month, but I am getting sales. There was 1,000 sales last month nationwide or in my city for this particular product that I'm selling. And now and once again, I'm using the sales example, but you can apply this to other areas in your life. Now let's go back here for somebody that's older. Okay, if you're already older, just like the guy that did Popeyes or KFC, whoever the colonel was, whichever one of those, you know what I'm saying, that ultimately stole it from a black woman. Unfortunately, that guy was old, already retirement age, and then released that, and then obviously you would rather have your successes and the triumphs younger, but that's just a triumph there. You can have little triumphs. You can say, hey, I did one thing better today than I did yesterday. I did 3 or 4 sales today better than I did yesterday, last week, last month. And you apply something different. You start reading a book. That could be a personal victory of yours, where you're like, hey, I'm on social media too much. I'm listening to these videos too much. And everything like that. You could be distracted and you're like, man, my vocabulary's going down. I used to read books all the time, but I don't, or I never read books. Let me do that. And so now I am expanding what I can expand. And that's your personal victory. Now let's take a little turn here. Let's go over to Sha'Carri Richardson. All right. Now this picture is what I found. This is from an article that they were saying it was uncertainty whether she'll be at the Olympics. And that's why I'm using this one versus the one at the USA Championships. But let's say that you're a young upstart. Let me see if I can find her from high school or NCAA. I think I have that somewhere in here. Let's say that you are a young upstart here. You're hot on your times. You're hot in the sales, right? Your personality is not going to be the same. This is why I'm using these two people here. And her story isn't told all the way. And there's a reason why I include her here. Let's say that you're somebody here. You're like, nobody can tell you anything. At some point, you were a little bit more humble. You still got your own personality and your flair to you. Elaine Thompson-Herah has a personality to her. And you can really see it. She just doesn't really display it publicly like Richardson does. But let's say that that's you. Then you go the equivalent to her going pro. You go to your next level. Your sales were just on fire. You're just like, you're not the best yet, but you're doing it faster than what people were before you. Not keeping in mind that the people before you built up the landscape for you to even do it in a faster time. They built the landscape, the training methods, the books that you read. Let's bring it back to real life. The books that you read, the audio that you can take in, that you can play at 2x speed, right? The things that you can do, the platforms, the internet, the radio stations, whatever it is that can build you up faster than what they had to do. And I think back to people learning how to develop a new training method versus they already got it and then you learn it just like that. It could have taken them 10 or 20 years to figure out this new training method where you picked it up within 3 to 6 months, and it takes your body maybe 1 or 2 years to adjust to it, but you still picked it up much faster. Let's say that that's you and you got on your laurels. Well, I'll use this picture even though it's from this year. You got on your laurels and you said, I'm the best. I am the reason why everybody is doing what they're doing. I'm the reason, even though I'm new, even though I'm unknown, I'm going to come loud and proud on the scene. And let's say then you get humbled. Her getting humbled was not being allowed to go to the Olympics because of, like it or not, things that she still did, but maybe her skin color wasn't the right one and they would have let somebody else. Who knows, right? But that's the first one. Then the next one is coming in dead freaking last and getting embarrassed. No matter what anybody says, I don't think a person that is a high achiever is okay with being that flat out embarrassed. Nobody. Not a high achiever anyway. Not somebody that comes with the pride of saying, hey, I'm the best. And if that's what you are in your workplace and maybe even in your relationship, wherever that is, and something happens, that's the test of how your character is. One thing we can say, maybe you're consistent. Maybe you reply out of the pain of embarrassment and you trying to save face. Some people save face. Some people do it for publicity. But whatever it is, you could have done it to save face. Like I believe that what she did, and partially because of publicity. At that point, you calm yourself. Look what she did. She said, I have to get off of social media to focus. And what did she do? When she came off of social media and focused, Now her times are getting better again. She got off of social media. She kept quiet. Obviously, that's what you do. You focus. You go back to the lab and you do the thing that got you better. You do the push-ups that you need. You do the training. You do the routines. You make your bed. However that was that got you to the point that you were here. You calm everything else out. The white noise, the distractions, everything else out. And you go hard and you go in the paint and you do it. Now, obviously, these times that she's doing now are not fast enough to win. This is just, I'm using this as an example. Now I caught this because I said, okay, she's focused. She's more humble. But that's kind of what you're forced to do. Whether you're forced to or not, I don't really care if you're forced to be humble or not, because she could still be a loudmouth and she could still do that because we saw it last year. You could still be that person. I've noticed a lot of people in our lives, we're usually the ones holding ourselves back, right? We hold ourselves back. We can grow much further. And some of you guys see me, I'll use myself as an example. In the comment section, I turn off some people. I could be a larger YouTube channel. Maybe even one or two of the people that were subscribers before, and I talk to everybody the same. If I say this sounds like a dumb idea, people know me in life, I'll say it there. It don't matter if it's a business person I'm talking to or whatever. I do have some kind of awareness to that, of course. Yeah, it's not going to be the same. This is a YouTube platform, so I might over exaggerate, or it's more entertainment a little bit here, but I generally speak about the same to everybody. Somebody asks me if they look a certain way, I tell them exactly as it is. I've changed it a little bit from what I used to do a decade ago, where it was more of a harsh tone. That's why in some ways I'm understanding Sha'Carri Richardson. Even between some of my videos, I'm like, look, if you're going to talk the talk, back it up. And those people talk the talk. I love when people can talk the talk, back it up. It gets me hyped up because I recognize that in myself. I do a lot of trash talking. If I get myself on a top aspect, you can't tell me nothing at that point, because that's in my personality. It's nothing even personal at all either. Nothing personal. It's just like, hey, I'm up there. I'm trash talking. I'm in a winning position. I'm going to run this through until I can't stop winning. And then if I get back humble, I gotta quiet myself down. Some people don't do that. Some people don't block out that noise. And she did. She won the 200. And it's not even her best event. She's not really a top athlete or even in the conversation for the 200. But in the 100, if she can get herself back down and the way she's progressing, yeah. So I want you to take this and observe what she's been doing. She's gotten herself more focused. She's gotten herself in her quiet space, with still displaying her own personality and her own flair. Remember this. Look at this picture right here on the screen. That's still going to be her own flair. Ain't nothing wrong with that. People, whether they like it or not, oh well, that's how she's displaying it. And unless she's breaking some laws or something, that's how she can do it. Right? That's her own flair. So hopefully you guys got some kind of lesson out of this, something that we could share. I'm going to be doing more of these, whether they get views or not. This is something that I would like to do, whether I put it on another YouTube channel or the secondary ones that I have. I think I'm going to rename one to Black and Bold, so that I can talk about building up the different countries, different communities and stuff, specifically black people here. So you guys got any comments you want to add to this? Maybe something I could have noticed within here, or maybe something that you disagree with. Definitely leave it in the comment section below. And final thing here, look, we ain't we ain't done with this. I almost thought about when Sha'Carri Richardson said I ain't done, and then she pulled out of the 200 last year. It was kind of a funny thing, but we ain't done with observing these athletes and how they perform. One athlete was a top performer when she was young or fast. Both of these athletes, the reason why I bring up Elaine Thompson-Herah and Sha'Carri Richardson is both of them were fast, right? Sha'Carri Richardson, fast. At her age, very fast. Obviously, that U20 or something like that. I think NCAAs didn't have the ratification or whatever. But at age for age, she's faster than anybody else that has done it at her age, right? That's something that needs to be pointed out. Personality-wise, one decided to display their personality on their sleeve, and it didn't work out, and she was forced to be humbled. She went back and said, you know what? That's right. I gotta be humble. I gotta block out all of the distractions. And then she comes back and she's starting to look better. And that is at least a start. Whether she does anything this year, the next year, or whatever, time will tell whether she ultimately gets a gold, whether she gets a medal at all. Individually, with a relay, I'm pretty confident that she'll get something. USA's relays, and if she's on that relay, will definitely, I hesitate to say definitely because it could go through a streak like the men can't get the baton around and all types of stuff. But definitely, based on the past, USA, if she remains injury free, she's getting some kind of medal there. That's darn near just a guarantee. But individually, whether she gets one or not, that's going to be up for the future. But at least I think this is a lesson for all of us to say, hey, we can remain focused and start doing better and get back on our grind. Just like I need to do on this YouTube channel. So you've been watching Head and Shoulders ATR, where most of the time we cover athletes' performances and otherwise that are head and shoulders above the rest. And I think this is something that we need to point out because this is the otherwise that are head and shoulders above the rest, where we don't consider these athletes in their personal lives, what they had to do. We get glimpses of it by what they say on their social media and what they say in their interviews. But I think that's very telling about both of these athletes. What do you guys think? Comment below. Peace.